This segment of the Alice Stewart Show is brought to you by Aero Plumbing. For all your household or business plumbing needs, call Aero Plumbing at 1-866-PLUMBER or schedule an appointment online at aeroplumbing.net.
Welcome back to the Alice Stewart Show, 7:35 on this Monday before Thanksgiving. In the spin room this morning, Taylor Riddle, Democratic Party of Arkansas Executive Committee member and Democratic House Caucus Director, and Jim Reavis. He is the Republican Chairman Association former president. Jim and Taylor, great to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. And we're going to start off with talking about the topics that were discussed on the Sunday morning shows yesterday. And pretty much everyone, I was flipping from one to the other, and the main topic was President Obama's executive action on immigration, and this would basically give amnesty to about 5 million people who are currently in our country. And the president himself actually sat down on ABC's This Week with George Stephanopoulos and talked about this. He did say that he is also going to tighten up border security, but some lawmakers say that he's really overstepped his bounds with regard to circumventing Congress and taking this action. But the president defended his actions, saying that other presidents have done the exact same thing. Here's President Obama on ABC.
Every president, Democrat and Republican, over decades has done the same thing. George H.W. Bush, about 40% of the undocumented persons at the time were provided a similar kind of relief.
Taylor?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we have seen it previous in both Democratic and Republican administrations, some sort of amnesty for undocumented Americans or illegal immigrants. But I tell you one thing that this administration has done that stood out compared to its predecessor was the fact that he's had more removal deportations. And that's something that we need to keep in mind, because if you are removed as an illegal immigrant in this country and they send you back to Mexico or to whatever country you came from, you don't have a path to citizenship. That's taken away from you. And I think that we need to keep that in mind as something that he has done effectively, and that does stand out based off his predecessor.
Jim, your thoughts on the president's comment that other presidents have done the same thing?
Well, you know, when I was doing a little bit of research for this segment, I looked up at factcheck.org, and they were pointing out what a huge difference that was going if you compared Obama to Reagan and Bush. Reagan and Bush clarified the immigration laws passed by Congress. What Obama is doing is actually creating laws by bypassing a democratically elected Congress. He is doing what he repeatedly said he would not do. And on multiple statements over his tenure as president.
Right.
And the other part of, we're sending more people back because we have 11 million more people here compared to the past. Percentage-wise is what I would like to see.
And that's go ahead, Taylor.
That's just also in contrast to the fact that Republicans continue to fail in doing what they said that they have done and pass a comprehensive immigration reform bill. They have yet to do it. Republican House Speaker John Boehner said that he would be on board with doing it. Couldn't get his members in his own party behind him on it.
Neither could President Obama when he had both houses of Congress for 4 years.
Well, Congress is complaining about the fact that he's using an executive order. How about they put a bill on his desk and let him veto it and then answer to the American public?
How about we get the 358 bills off of Harry Reid's desk that a democratically elected House passed that he has not even looked at?
Tell Speaker Boehner to drop the Hastert rule and allow a bill to make it to the floor if over 50% of all members approve of that piece of legislation making it to the House floor versus 50% of the majority members in the majority party supporting the legislation. I mean,
no matter what you can say about this, Taylor, he said repeatedly he would not do this.
And I want to play a little bit. I want to jump in here and play some comments from some members of Congress that were on the Sunday shows yesterday, and they're weighing in back and forth on this. One of them being Representative Javier Becerra. He's a Democrat out of California. He's a Democratic caucus director, like you, Taylor, and he believes the president is well within his rights to do what he did, and he argues that point vehemently with Chris Wallace on Fox News Sunday.
He said he can't change the law, which is absolutely true, but he has the discretion to try to make a law work better and smarter. The solution is very simple here. It's not to impeach the president. That's abusive. It's not to
very few people are talking about impeaching the president, except for Democrats, sir.
It's not to have one branch of government sue another branch of government, and it's certainly not to shut down the government again. It's to pass a law.
Jim?
Well, I can agree more with the representative. But if you're going to actually work with other people in Congress, and especially right after election is held, and right before those people actually take office, this is not necessarily the best way about reaching out and saying that I'm going to work across the aisle.
Taylor?
You know, the executive order argument, and I've said this numerous times on your show, I believe, because, you know, they like to highlight executive orders. Barack Obama in his tenure has had 193 executive orders. George W. Bush, 291. Bill Clinton, 364. George H.W. Bush, 166. And Ronald Reagan, 381. This is something every president in modern-day history has utilized to do stuff when Congress is slow to act or when they just simply don't act. Do I think
there's a huge difference there?
Do I think Republicans should do what they ought to and make him eat crow and pass a immigration reform bill? Sure, I think they should. But do I think that they will? No.
I think the main difference is the scope that has many folks concerned. I want to play this comment from Representative Mike McCall. He is a Republican out of Texas. He is talking about some of the responses that the GOP may do in response to the president's action. Here is Representative Mike McCall on CBS Face the Nation.
We are not going to shut the government down, but we are going to shut down this president and his actions as it pertains to granting amnesty to 5 million people.
Taylor?
Hopefully he's talking about the what I consider a real Republican and not the Tea Party, right? Because I have a feeling that you're going to see a lot of the members in the Tea Party movement push to shut the government down, and rather than push to pass a comprehensive immigration reform bill. It's the same stuff that we've been seeing over the last 6 years under this president, and it's going to be the same stuff we'll continue to see for the next 2 years, especially as more members in the Tea Party take control over things.
Jim?
You know, I don't know Representative McCall, but I do know Steve Womack. And Congressman Womack's website pointed out that the immigration everyone agrees that the immigration system in the United States is broken and needs reform. But as he pointed out, as Womack pointed out, Congress needs to develop a long-term immigration policy that encourages lawful behavior. Obama cannot change the laws himself. That is not how democracy works. And I agree with him completely, and I would think that most Arkansans agree with Congressman Womack.
Right, and I think that's what we are seeing. Everyone, well, as you say, will agree that we do need to fix the immigration problem. And Taylor, I agree with you 100%. And with regard to the GOP response to this, needs to be unified, and it doesn't need to. GOP doesn't need to shoot themselves in the foot and have two different factions moving forward. So hopefully that will be the case. So we will continue to monitor that. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will talk about what is brewing in Ferguson, Missouri, as the grand jury continues, expected to deliberate yet again today, and security is at an all-time high. But what is the Ferguson, Missouri shooting, what has that done for race relations in our country? We will talk about that with Taylor Riddle and Jim Reavis after this break here on the Alice Stewart Show. This segment of the program brought to you by Aero Plumbing. For all of your household or business plumbing needs, give them a call, 501-588-3200, or go online at aeroplumbing.net.